20-031 Jim Chapman, M1 to REM-MD, Ripkins Boulevard, tax map number R22807-01-07. That item is District 9. The chair entertains a motion for item A1. Did Ms. Mack get back on the line?
Yes, I'm here.
Ms. Mack, we're
Make
at
a motion.
item 581, which is reference Ripken Road in your district. The chair has entertained a motion reference that item.
Yes, I make a motion to approve.
Oh, Mr. Chair,
There's a motion for approval. Mr. Price,
have we opened a public hearing on this particular item?
thank you very much. No, we did not. That public hearing for that item is now open. Mr. Price.
Yes, sir. We have we have a letter from the applicant, of course, in support of the request, and we have 67 comments opposed to the request. Staff will begin to read those. Again, I know we have 2 minutes per comment, and we also, I believe, according to council's rules, we have 30 minutes allocated to each particular case that you have. So staff will begin reading those to you now.
And remember, and neither one of them should go more than, you clock yourself at 2 minute interval. If it's longer than 2 minutes, we need to end it at 2 minutes.
All right, Mr. Chairman, the first comment that we have is from Robert F. Fuller, attorney for the applicant. It says to members of County Council, this application is being pursued by Jim Chapman Communities in order to establish in the Columbia-Richland County market a specialty rental homes community. This developer concept will be unique here, but is similar to the developer's niche market plan proven successful in Metro Atlanta, Athens, Georgia, Huntersville, Alabama, and similar residential localities. The proposal is an alternative to the typical large lot upscale subdivision. This for rent community development plan appeals to the high level workforce and active adult seniors demographic that prefer to rent rather than to own. In each operating locality, this type of community constitutes an integral and significant lifestyle choice as part of the overall neighborhood area. By the nature of its customers' constituency, the for rent community seeks locations in close proximity to well-established residential communities. This development model provides a desirable residential option that is not a starter home or transitional market. Each dwelling unit is an individual rental residence, not a condominium or shared ownership unit. The for rent community is a permanent destination residential community designed and operated for appeal to a particular constituency. The proposed development is located on approximately 40 acres lying between the Wildwood community and Two Notch Road. Chapman's principals have reached out to and assessed the hopes and legitimate concerns from within the area. They have the experience record to assure responsible neighborhood sensitive planning and operational performance of this unique project at this location. It is in the county's interest to assure a stable owner operator in whatever development genre anchors and controls such high profile sites in the near proximity of the established communities. Chapman Communities is well qualified for that role. It is a solid community with broad reach. Its name recognition and reputation will promote continuing diversity of creative development being attracted to Richland County. Chapman will purchase the property, develop and construct the community in-house, therefore has a substantial economic stake in its successful development as an enhance to the community. Jim Chapman has communicated and met with the neighboring constituencies, sought their input and shared.
Delayed, that's the 2 minutes for that.
Is that
Thank you.
Mr. Price, do we have anyone keeping time?
Yes, sir, I'm keeping time. That was the 2 minutes.
Thank you.
All right, and then our next comment is from Jim Chapman. Basically, it's a response to most frequently raised questions and concerns. This upscale rental versus ownership residence community by design, the rent will vary responsive to specific unit details, but the range will be between $1,500 per month to $1,900 plus per month. Overall maintenance will be by a professional property management company, not an individual. unit by unit responsibility. For access and connectivity, there's a secured gate community. Rivkin Boulevard connects for rent community property to Two Notch Road for all ingress egress. There's no connections access to and from any Wildwood residential neighborhood or any road or street in Wildwood. Security and public safety, the for rent community constituency is limited to 286 residential units or less within a gated secure perimeter. Private security services will be provided within the for rent community at all times and provides a 24/7 response ability to Richland County service providers for faster response to actual emergencies. In actuality, this project property will provide a greater level of security and protection than the nearby open residential neighborhoods. School district burden for the for rent community is not restricted to an older demographic constituency. However, it is targeted to attract empty nesters or similar situated residents, as opposed to the typical school-age families. Richland District 2 raised no problems related to concerns to the Planning and Development Services impact inquiry regarding this proposed project. The zoning compatibility, the staff report and the positive planning commission approval confirms the suitability for this type of zoning for the area. Current district classification of M1 light industrial is not consistent with the existing uses or compliant with the comprehensive planning for future growth in this locality. And that's the end for those speaking in the affirmative or for the case. The next one is from Gail Bragg, president of the Wildwood HOA, 301 Wood Duck Road. Thank you for your service to our community and the efforts that you make on our behalf. We recognize many on county council are new to the roles and look forward to creating an open dialogue for positive change in the county. We appreciate the many difficult decisions that each of you make on a daily basis and would ask for your consideration as if you were living beside us in our neighborhood. The Richland County Council is again considering a request to change the existing zoning on a parcel of land that backs up to our Wildwood neighborhood behind the intersection of Leaning Tree Road and Old Steel Road and is located immediately behind the Walmart Supercenter. Although we were informed a new or revised zoning notice would be posted, the original zoning notice for last November remains, and the February 23rd zoning meeting was not posted in the neighborhood. Our community is still concerned about the proposed residential development and high density up to 280 homes and feel that the county's comprehensive plan should be modified to remain light industrial. The proposed development would introduce additional rental product when there is an availability of rental units with vacancies currently within several different properties in the Northeast corridor. Our HOA board of residents are concerned that another large rental development that backs up to our neighborhood will be detrimental to our property values and impact the security of this community. Frankly, having a business that is closed during the evening would be preferable to renters. We predict that such a development will result in an increased crime and continuing community degradation along Two Notch Road and will negatively impact our community infrastructure and neighborhood and throughout Richland Northeast. A review of the property surrounding the Wildwood community and the crime map shows we are surrounded by retail corridors and or large multifamily rental properties / complexes, etc., where crime is prevalent and escalating. The preliminary plan shown to us by the developer envisioned 280 plus homes with no real buffer between the existing low density homes in Wildwood, which is well established and has been here for more than 40 years. We do not want any access to our neighborhoods for vehicles or foot traffic from this development. We need to ensure existing wetlands are not disturbed. We would like to see natural buffers remain behind existing homes regardless of the type of development of this tract of land. We recommend
Mr. DeLage.
All right. Our next comment is from Heather Alexander. It says, "Hi, I live in Wildwood and I'm adamantly opposed to the rezoning of this land to multifamily high density. This would be a significant impact on the neighborhood and the area overall. There are plenty of apartments already within 1 to 2 miles. Multifamily housing adds many cars to Two Notch, Polo Road, and Sparkleberry. Those roads are already congested. Mallet Hill has become a thoroughfare even though it's a neighborhood road. I watched a large speeding tow truck pass a car yesterday on Mallet Hill, which is all a no passing zone. This is a common occurrence. The other roads are severely congested and speeding and running red lights are normal. It's highly unfair to the residents of Wildwood who purchase homes to be away from high density and crowded areas. This is a huge blow to the serenity of the neighborhood and will only lower values. I would ask that you not allow the rezoning. Thank you, Heather Alexander." And our next comment is from Maxie and Karen Joy. It says to the Richland County Planning or the County Council, my wife and I oppose the rezoning of land that runs behind Walmart and homes on Leaning Tree Road from light industrial to residential medium density. Our home at 326 Leaning Tree Road is ground zero for the impact of the rezoning. In addition to opposing the rezoning from M1 to RMMD, we feel that granting any access to our neighborhood for vehicles or pedestrian traffic will have a negative impact on our quality of life and our neighbors. Please enter this email to the record for the meeting. And then our next comment is from Kathleen Linty, and I apologize if I butcher anyone's names. 117 Silver Lake Road East. It says, dear sirs, this letter is to express my strong opposition to the zoning change, case 20-031, currently proposed for the area behind Walmart on Two Notch Road, butting up to the Wildwood neighborhood. The northeast area is currently awash with vacant apartments. There are over a dozen apartment complexes within 5 miles of the proposed zone. For example, Sand Hills is full of vacancies, as are the apartments near the Wildwood area. Adding even more residential homes and apartments on this land would put additional pressure on the infrastructure, traffic, roads, and schools that is already insufficient for the current residents in the Northeast. The road widening project under construction on Clemson Road still will not be sufficient in addressing the traffic issues for the residents in the Northeast. That project was launched with residential numbers from 5 years ago. Again, I respectfully request that you deny this proposed zoning change. The current residents of the Northeast do not deserve additional pressure on our schools or more gridlock on our roads. And then I have one from Polly.
Excuse me for 1 minute. Mr. Price, how many did you say we have from the beginning? How many?
I believe I said 67.
I just want to say to my colleagues, as we've done in the past, when we have this number, what we would normally do is since we actually received these ahead of time too, is to just simply read a certain number of those and then move so that we have time for the others items on our agenda. So if there's no objection, I would recommend we read 3 or 4 more of those, and we'll get the gist of what people are saying. And we also have the ones that we've actually been emailed to us if there are no objections.
Mr.
So
Chair.
can you, Ms. Newton, you recognize?
I apologize, Mr. Chair, if you already said this, but just want to reiterate that with the recommendation that you made, that every letter and comment that we received would still be entered into the public record. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. So for this item, can we read the next 3 that you have there?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. So this is from Polly Andrews. It says, we are very much opposed to the proposed building. The safety of our family, friends, and neighbors are important. The pressure on infrastructure and the increased crime that may result from the large density of new apartments / homes. Our neighborhood is zoned low density, will not help our property values or safety. Thank you for your time and attention to help us make our voices heard. Sincerely, Polly Andrews. And then I've got the next comment from Gretchen Skull, 5 Charlie Horse Road. Said, I'm writing about case 20-031 MA regarding rezoning some of the land that runs behind Walmart and along homes on Leaning Tree Road. I'm opposed to the rezoning as I do not want increased population in our area. Speeding cars, the number of cars, crime generally, and people wandering our streets who do not live here have all increased in the last 2 to 3 years due to other similar developments surrounding our neighborhood. Every single day, all 4 members of my family walk, bike, and run along Old Steel Road and Leaning Tree Road. If this new residential construction goes forward, I am afraid I will have to prohibit my children from independently exercising along those roads. I am also very concerned about the ever-increasing crime in our neighborhood. More than once in the last 3 years, I have seen through our home camera system strangers in my yard and on my front porch just examining the property. When we first moved here in 2014, this never happened. This is very disconcerting and frightening. Please do not move forward with this rezoning proposal until you have heard from the people who live near the area and directly experience those up close every day. All right, and then the next comment is from Ramon M. Mija, and this is, what can I say a day before the meeting to encourage responsibility and community decision-making concerning the project development? Logic says nothing. You people will not listen to low-grade communications, written protests from highly educated people, or probably even Jesus Christ speaking in your dreams. You probably are not believers anyway, except in the business of taking money from the low-hanging fruit trees, which is a belief system if you act on it. The continued destruction of communities by abandoning principles, foundations, tax-based systems, etc., do not deter irresponsible development 90 to 99% of the time. Why would you be any different? I was at the meeting 4 years ago when the first attempts to hide the truth and push a decision to connect Two Notch Road to the recreation center on Polo Road were passed in front of the public. Fortunately, I knew then what I know now. Some people in decision-making roles in Richland County are being baited with money motives to try to change the landscape of our community. While the community has undoubtedly changed in the last 30 years, I've been in Columbia, the change being peddled concerning the space between Two Notch big business centers and a vital tax base is better defined as destruction. We call it change sometimes because it takes a long-term point of view and knowledge to understand destruction versus change. So you sell change like it's snake oil, and destruction is mostly understood as tearing something down in a day or two, not a decade or two. This is a case of destruction, not change, and certainly not responsible development. Hence the stakeholders speaking out passionately. The only measure we can provide to sway your preemptive opinion is producing short-term alternative values in the place of money being dangled like a carrot for a rabbit to a chase. So what we offer you people that is better than money, and assuming you're conscious and consciousness of prosperous future like the last 30 years of change and responsible development has afforded, is not on the table. Clearly, I would not be addressing this group of individuals if your conscious and consciousness of the future were already understood. So I'm not out on a limb with the assumptions, hence the diatribe hitting home. God, I hope so anyway, because the diatribe is all we were given with the
Mr.
things.
Delays less than 2 minutes for it.
Thank you.
Mr.
Thank
Chair,
you very much.
parliamentary question.
Thank you very much. Who need to be recognized?
McBride,
McBride, go ahead, please.
are we not required to do 30 minutes?
For the whole time, yes,
Okay, that's what I said for the whole time, 30 minutes. We're required to give them 30 minutes.
but not for one item, no.
No, right. I was just wanting to make sure that we gave 30 minutes.
And we could both extend that if we need to. Well, that concludes the public hearing for item case number 20-031MA. And let me reiterate to the public that we do have all of those that were presented, and they will be entered into the record as received and reviewed by council members. The chair now will entertain a motion regarding case number 20-031MA. That public hearing is closed, and now there's a motion. And ask for a motion.
Mr. Chair, a motion for approval.
Motion for approval. Is there a second?
Second?
Second.
It's a move and properly second. Any further discussion?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
It's might be recognized.
Yes, I just want to say on the record, we did not publicly hear all of the comments that were received, but I did read all the comments, and I've talked with the Wildwood HOA president, as well as responded personally to at least half of the comments that were submitted. And the developer and HOA president have been talking, and they are working on agreements that Wildwood would be comfortable with. And so my vote yes today is to allow that time for them to continue on and have those conversations to come to an agreement so that we can move forward and residents can feel that their voices have been heard and everyone's comfortable.
Thank you. It's moved proper second. Any further comments? If not, I'll ask Ms. Owens to call the roll for the motion for approval for item 5A1.
Malinowski,
Yes.
Pugh,
Yes.
McBride,
Yes,
okay, I got you. Livingston,
Yes.
Teratio,
Yes.
Joe Walker, Barron,
Yes.
Overture Walker,
Yes.
Mackey,
Yes.
English,
Yes.
Newton.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. That brings us to item 5A2, case number 20-033MA. That public hearing is now open. Mr. Price, do we have anybody to speak to this public hearing?
Yes, sir. We have a comment from the applicant. Of course, that will be in support. And we also have a letter from some of the citizens that lived out there, William Vincent Jr. and Tim Vincent, who previously were opposed to this request, but the letter, and again, y'all did receive this, are in support of this request.
Okay. Can you just go, so you just only have two then? You can share those two then for the public?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chair. Letter from the applicant. Vulcan Materials seeks rezoning of the subject property from rural residential to heavy industrial for future phased use of the existing neighboring Dreyfus Quarry. Rezoning the subject property will not contribute to a detrimental significant community impact through increased activity, but will allow Vulcan to continue to provide necessary support for the local economy into the future. The subject property aligns with the character of the surrounding development pattern for a parcel location that would otherwise find strained interest and viability for a single-family neighborhood development or any neighborhood commercial establishments. The Dreyfus Quarry makes a necessary product for a growing economy and supplies crushed stone that is used in all types of construction, including schools, homes, hospitals, libraries, commercial construction, places of worship, and of course, roads and bridges. The material is currently shipped to construction sites throughout the metropolitan Columbia area and to sales yards in South Carolina's Low Country, where there is not an available supply of quality granite materials for construction. Traffic is unlikely to increase as approval of this application will not increase the market demand for this product. Furthermore, no new quarry locations are likely in Richland County, and because Richland County will soon see the closing of the Olympia Mills Quarry, it is imperative to protect those few resources that Richland County has available to it. Vulcan plans to utilize significantly greater buffer areas than those mandated by DHEC, and Vulcan constantly monitors all of its activities to ensure compliance with regulatory limits. All future plans will be subject to DHEC approval with public participation, and all impacts to the surrounding area will be considered and appropriately addressed by Vulcan. Moreover, future reclamations of the site could include reservoirs, subdivisions, campuses, or recreational uses as dictated by the surrounding land uses at the time of reclamation. The Dreyfus Quarry is ideally located in an area that is already considered a mostly heavy industrial area. Its location next to the Richland County landfill and has served the county literally millions of dollars, has saved the county literally millions of dollars over the years by providing dirt cover that could be directly moved to the landfill site, often using Vulcan's equipment. Vulcan has proven to be a good neighbor at its locations at the Dreyfus and Columbia quarries and contributed to the economic tax base as well as provided quality jobs. Vulcan looks forward to continuing the relationship with Richland County that it has built over the last 150 years for decades into the future. Thank you for your favorable consideration of the application, Jimmy Fleming. And then our next comment, which is an objection to. On November 6, 2020, or excuse me, in support of. On November 6, 2020, I submitted a letter in objection to a proposed zoning change for the property located at 115 Thames Road. In addition, my brother Tim Vincent submitted an email expressing his concern as well. This case, number 20-033, went before the Planning Commission virtually at 3 p.m. on Monday, November 9th, 2020. We have since met with Mr. Elliot Boatsy, Vice President and General Manager with Vulcan Materials Company. We discussed my concerns, and Mr. Boatsy assured us that all the property at 115 Thames Road will be used as a buffer zone for the next 25 to 30 years. With this understanding, I hereby withdraw the letter of opposition, and Tim withdraws his email of concern. It should be duly noted that my property located at 124 Thames Road is zoned as rural residential and not heavy industrial. as it was presented on one of the maps within your meeting on November 9th, 2020. The RR zoning of my land has been verified as such by Richland County in correspondence received from Thomas DeLage Jr. dated January 15th, 2021. I respectfully ask that the small zoning map that was shown at the beginning of the virtual meeting on November 9th, 2020 be reviewed and corrected to reflect the correct zoning of my parcel of land, as I do not believe it was presented correctly. William P. Vinson Jr. and Tim Vinson. And those are all the comments we have.
Thank you very much. That public hearing is now closed. The chair will entertain a motion of item 582, which is case number 20-033.
Chair, I'd like to make a motion that we approve this item.
There's a motion for approval. Is there a
Second.
second?
Second.
It's moving properly with second. Any discussion? There being none, I'll ask Ms. Oliver to call the roll for the motion for approval for item A 582.
Malinowski,
Yes.
Pugh,
Yes.
McBride,
Yes.
Livingston,
Yes.
Horatio,
Yes.
Barron,
Yes.
Overture Walker, Mackey,
Yes.
English,
Yes.
Newton.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. That brings to item 483, case number 20-039 MA. Will Eubank from NC to GC, and that's at 9366 and 9370 294 Road, tax map number tax map number R19908-03-23 and 07. That public hearing is now open. Mr. Price, if we have anyone to present comment for that.
Yes, sir,
for this item.
we have one comment, and that is from the applicant.
Can you share that for the record then?
All right, Will Unfeng, and thank you for considering our request. We believe that the community is better served by having this building in use. With GC, this building would be able to utilize its existing drive-through for a creative use other than a bank. Furthermore, changing the zoning from neighborhood commercial to general commercial is in line with the majority of the properties in the area. And as currently zoned, this property is more likely to stay vacant. And that's from the applicant, and that ends the comments, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. That public hearing is now closed. Chair intend a motion for item 583.
Mr. Chair, move for approval.
Motion for approval is there a second?
Second,
It's moving properly second.
Mr.
There's no
Chair,
further discussion.
Mr. Chair, I have one question.
Smile if you recognize.
And that's on page 17 where it states about you can't rezone for less than 2 acres except when changes involved. It says an extension of the same existing zoning district boundary. When you look on page 22, I don't see how they're referring that this is the same existing zoning boundary because GC is several lots away and this is bordered on each side by NC. So maybe if somebody from staff could just explain that, please.
Yes, sir, just a second, Mr. Malinowski.
Ms. Miller, you referring to the map on 22?
Yes, sir. On 22, but the comment on page 17 under eligibility where it says B2, B4, it says an extension of the same existing zoning district boundary is the only way that you could get a zoning change on less than 2 acres. I just want to know if I'm misinterpreting that. We can move on and you
Yes,
can.
sir. Yes, sir. According to the rules of construction within the Richland County Land Development Code, if you have at least 15 feet that's adjacent to a general commercial zoning designation, that would be considered contiguous.
Okay, so across the street counts too then.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. I'm done.
Thank you. There's no further discussion. I'll ask Ms. Oliver to call the roll for item 583.
Malinowski,
Yes.
Pugh,
Yes.
McBride,
Yes.
Livingston,
Yes.
Horatio,
Yes.
Barron,
Yes.
Overture Walker,
Yes.
Mackey,
Yes.
English, Newton.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. That brings us to item 5A4, which is case number 20-040MA. That's Kevin Stillman from RU to RS/LD, Rama Pond Road, tax map number R17800-04-70. That public hearing is now open. Mr. Price, anyone presenting comments for that item?
Yes, sir. We have comments from the applicant, and we have 21 comments opposed to the request.
Can we go ahead on and do the comment from the applicant and 5 of the other comments for the record? And again, let me restate that the council members have received all those comments, and all the comments will be stated for the record.
All right, Mr. Chair, we have the letter from the applicant, Kevin Stillman. I am writing to provide you with some background information on my company's request for rezoning TMS number R17800-04-70 from RU to RSLD. This request will be on your agenda at the public hearing on February 23rd. Some of this information may have been included in your package by the planning staff, but I wanted to be sure it was available to you as you consider our request. As noted in the report from staff, the comprehensive plan for the property calls for a medium density residential use for this area, which would allow for 77 units on our property. Our intended use for the property can be accommodated with RSLD zoning, which limits density to 55 units. So we made our application for this lesser zoning accordingly. Since making our application, we have seen and heard some public comments regarding the potential impacts on traffic, particularly in light of the Blythewood Farms PDD being developed on the adjacent property. There seems to have been some confusion regarding the access for Blythewood Farms because there is an access road currently under construction into Blythewood Farms from Reimer Pond Road. Due to a large wetland that divides that property, only 41 of the plus minus 600 homes that will be developed within the PDD will have access to that entrance into Reimer Pond Road. The remainder of the homes will only be accessed from Langford Road. I have attached the approved site plan for Blythewood Farms, which shows there is no connection from Langford Road to Reimer Pond Road. I also shared this information with Barbara Ball, publisher of The Voice, so she could share this information with her readers. Barbara was able to incorporate the graphic below in her recent article, which I believe is helpful in demonstrating the relationship of our property to Blythewood Farms and the access that will serve both properties. We plan to develop our property jointly with the 41 lots in Blythewood Farms that are accessed from Reimer Pond Road, and will share the access road that has been permitted and is under construction. We will also participate in constructing turn lane improvements onto Reimer Pond Road to mitigate any impacts to traffic flow. I have attached the plans for the turn lane improvements along with the traffic study that was completed in connection with permitting those improvements through SCDOT. By sharing an entrance, we will avoid creating an additional access point on Reimer Pond Road to serve our property, which will also reduce any impact on the flow of traffic. In conclusion, we believe that our request for RSLD zoning is compatible with the comprehensive plan and surrounding land uses, and we request that you consider the information we have provided along with the recommendations of staff and the Planning Commission and vote to approve our application. Thank you for your consideration and for your service to Richland County. Please let me know if you have any additional questions or if I can be of further assistance as you deliberate on this request. Comments in opposition from Brenda W. Timey, Clarence Timey Jr., and Clarence Timey Sr. My name is Brenda W. Timey, and I live at 178 Reimer Pond Road. I oppose any development on this road because there's already too much traffic on this road. There are times during the day I cannot even get out of my driveway onto Reimer Pond Road unless someone lets me out. My husband and son, who also live at this address, oppose any development here as well. Your site was temporarily out of service every time I tried to access it, so I have no idea what is being planned, but we went on record that the three of us are opposed based on the already deplorable congestion in this road already. I want someone to email me the information about what has been proposed, as your site is not accessible. We pay too much in taxes to be this poorly informed. Next comment from Stephanie Haas. My name is Stephanie Haas. My family and I have lived at 164 Reimer Pond Road for 13 years. My home is across the street from the property in question. Let me begin by stating Mr. Stillman is a developer. He isn't a resident on Reimer Pond Road, nor a member of the Blythewood community. Land Tech currently has 3 communities on Reimer Pond that have 40+ unsold homes at this time. Currently, we already have 600 homes in Blythewood Farms under construction. There is no need for another development. Second, traffic is already a nightmare. I work at Round Top Elementary. Last year, I left Round Top to attend my son's IEP meeting at Blythewood High School. According to Google Maps, this is a 3.5-mile commute that should take 7 minutes. In actuality, at 7:45 a.m., it took me 25 minutes. Being late to my child's IEP caused me stress. This makes me wonder how the students that rely on bus transportation will feel when they miss out on daily instruction due to excess traffic from more developments. Being an instructor, I personally know the chain reaction one late student can have on the entire classroom. Finally, additional development has displaced multiple species of wildlife and is ruining the land that Mother Nature has bestowed upon us. As stakeholders in this community, we cannot allow another development at this time. The next comment from Trey Hare, 252 Reimer Pond Road. I am writing as a concerned resident in opposition to the zone change request by applicant Kevin Stillman on Reimer Pond Road. The traffic is horrendous on Reimer Pond Road and has been since the ADT counts from 2016. Since that time, Richland County has approved essentially every zone change request for housing developments applied for along Reimer Pond Road and Langford Road. The infrastructure and schools are overloaded now and will certainly be overwhelmed in the near future. Coates Bridge, about 200 homes, borders Sterling Ponds. Sterling Pond, about 200 homes. Kevin Stillman, applicant, promised the Reimer Pond Road community he had no plans to build houses directly on Reimer Pond Road and would limit the number of homes in the neighborhood. The neighborhood is being built out to its maximum and homes now line Reimer Pond Road, complete with streetlights and potentially dangerous traffic situations. Land Tech homes at Reimer Pond Road and hardscrabble, 100+ homes. Promised wooded buffer is non-existent. Blythewood Farms, 600 homes. Again, the Blythewood Farms subdivision you approved had promised not to connect to Reimer Pond Road, but almost immediately the road was cleared and it is currently under construction. This connection is between the 15-acre property applying now in Cooper's Pond. Cricken Tree Golf Course reversal of TROS potentially could add 900 more homes to the area. The applicant will be able to add 55 more homes. When does it end? The Reimer Pond community is suffering the consequences of your vote to allow the urban sprawl to continue. It's out of control and irresponsible of you to allow it to continue. Many of your constituents are upset and cannot attend the hearings to speak out. The ordinances are set up for the developer to get whatever they wish. Our community implores you to help stop it. Enough is enough. The property is zoned rural and can be developed as it is. It does not need to be zone changed to allow 55 homes. Mr. Chair, I believe this next comment will be the 5th comment from Charlene P. Lawyer. I'm opposed to the zoning change, case number 20-040 MA Kevin Stillman. Do you want me to continue, Mr. Chair?
Thank you. You've done 5, correct?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. That public hearing is now closed. And again, for those of you who comments were not read, they will be in the record and council members have received them. The chair will now entertain a motion for item 5A4, case number 20-04MA.
Mr. Chair, I move to deny the rezoning.
There's a motion for denial of the rezoning. Is there a second?
Second.
It's a moving proper second for denial. Any further discussion?
Mr. Chair, I would like to say that, I think that the concerns of the constituents of Romer Pond Road and the surrounding areas are extremely valid, and one of which that we need to continue to further research. We've had many conversations, whether formally or offline, about the importance of smart growth in Richland County. And I think that this is a prime example of where we need to dial back just a little bit and look at some different ways and some alternatives as we look forward to knowing that Richland County is a place that we want people to come and we want them to live and work. However, when they get here, we want it to be as such so that a parent doesn't have to be late to an IEP for something that's just right around the corner. So I would encourage my colleagues as well as the staff, as we look forward to receiving these applications in the future, that we definitely do our due diligence. While I understand staff has done a fine job in laying out, pros and cons for us, there's still some things that concern us, especially those who live in this particular area. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Any further comments? If not, I'll ask Mrs. Owner to call the roll for the motion for denial for item 5A4.
Malinowski,
Yes.
Pugh,
Yes.
McBride,
Yes.
Livingston,
Yes.
Teratio,
Yes.
Barron,
Yes.
Overture Walker,
Yes.
Mackey,
Yes.
English,
Yes.
Newton. Motion passes.
Thank you. That brings us to item 5A5, case number 20-041, MA. Hossein, I don't want to mess up the last name too bad, Ali. I'll cut it short there. HRS to HD to NC. That's located at 4501 Sheraton Road, tax map number R13416-01-02. That public hearing is now open. Mr. Price, do we have anyone presenting comments regarding item
Yes, sir.
5A5?
We have a letter from the applicant and we have 5 comments opposed to the request. And I believe you also received a petition from the community regarding this particular request also.
And we hear that a letter from the applicant and 3 of the participants who opposed it.
Yeah, we have 5 opposed.
3 of the 5, but someone said that the letter from the applicant and 3 of the 5 from opposed. Can you read those for the record?
Yeah.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. So start, of course, with the applicant. This letter is to request to rezone my property located at the 4501 Sheraton Road, Columbia, South Carolina, 29209, tax map number 13416-02-01 from RSHD to retail. I am confident that my request for rezoning to a community general retail grocery store with healthy quality food, beverages, and organic juices will help entire community and their health of residents within walking distance. Our customers will likely bring with them healthy disposable income. In conclusion, I urge you to vote yes on this project. It is the kind of redevelopment that is good for the neighborhood and good for the city of Columbia economy. And then the next letter is, or comment is from Senator Daryl Jackson. Says, to whom it may concern, it has been brought to my attention that the property located at 4501 Sheraton Road, Columbia, South Carolina, 29209 is being considered for rezoning as a commercial property. This neighborhood is very dear to my family and myself. I am concerned about the elderly residents, most who have been residents for over 50 years. I, along with the residents, do not want to change the fabric of this neighborhood. I respectfully request that you consider the many families that may be affected by this and consider my opposition to this rezoning. If you would like to discuss this issue further, please feel free to contact me. And then we have a letter from Elijah and Lillian Green. This is, we are writing this letter hoping it will make help you make a decision to deny all requests to rezone the 4501 Sheraton Road property from RSHD to neighborhood commercial. We are owners who live across from this property. We are over 80 years old. We have lived here over 52 years with no problems. We would like to live here in peace for the remainder of our lives here. Rezoning the property to neighborhood commercial will cause lots of unforeseen problems. Our understanding is that the owners want to establish a convenience store or some type of business on the property that would include the sale of alcohol. Such a store would invite many strange and unnecessary traffic into a neighborhood of quiet and peaceful elderly people. As older residents, we would live in fear of the unpredictable and possibly unseemly behavior that a convenience store would invite. In conclusion, we are asking your help to keep our homes and neighborhood quiet, clean, conducive, and to comfortable living. We ask you to keep our entire area zoned residential single-family high density. All right, and then we have a letter from Roger Leaks Jr., president of the Eastway Park Neighborhood Association. Says, I am our neighborhood president, and I am writing this letter hoping it will influence you to deny all requests to rezone the property located at 4501 Sheraton Road from residential single-family high density to neighborhood commercial. Overview is 4501 Sheraton Road is located within the boundaries of the Eastway Park subdivision. Eastway Park is bounded on the east by Bluff Road, on the north by a small stream of woodlands, and on the south by woodlands, and on the west by woodlands and a 50-foot cliff. The development of Eastway Park began in 1963 and was completed in 1970. Most of us living in Eastway Park have made our homes here for the last 50 plus years. The neighborhood has been very stable, quiet, and safe since the beginning. We have worked hard to protect the value of our and beauty of our investments. However, during the last 8 to 10 years, about 25% of the original owners have died, and their children have either sold or rented their parents' homes to people who don't care anything about the integrity, the beauty, or the upkeep of the neighborhood. This alone saddens all of us who are now in our 70s, 80s, and 90s. We are too old to move. We are living on fixed incomes, but our homes are paid for. We are asking you to keep our surroundings quiet, clean, conducive to comfortable living in zone residential single-family high density until after we are dead. Conclusion, we are asking that you deny the request to change the zoning status of the property located at 4501 Sheraton Road from RSHD to NC. It is our understanding that the owner wants to establish a convenience store of some type. Section 2696 states that to make such a change, there must be a desire and need by the residents. The residents of the Eastway Park do not want nor need a convenience store located inside our residential subdivision. Please see the attached list of residents opposing any change of the zoning from RSHD to NC. And I believe that was the third comment, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. That public hearing is now closed for case number 20-041MA. Chair, entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to entertain a motion to disapprove.
There's a motion for disapproval. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a move and proper second. Discussion. There being none.
I would just like to share with the council that this actual residence is literally in the midst of the subdivision. And other residents, when they're sitting on their porch, they're looking right into this, the area that they're talking about.
Thank you. Any further comments? Thank you very much. The motion is for for denial. Ms. Only, can you call the roll for the motion for item 5A5? Yes.
Malinowski,
Yes.
Pugh,
Yes.
McBride,
Yes.
Livingston,
Yes.
Horatio,
Yes.
Barron,
Yes.
Overture Walker,
Yes.
Mackey,
Yes.
English,
Yes.
Newton.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. That brings us to item 4A6 on our agenda, case number 20-042MA, and that's Gita Tepper, and that's from RS-MD to RM-MD, Sloan Road and the Richley Road, tax map number R20101-05-01. That public hearing is now open.
Yes. Mr. Chair, we have one comment from the applicant, and we have 3 comments opposing the request.
Okay, can you share those with us?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chair. A letter from the applicant, Gita Tapera. We would like to thank council for the meeting today. The property located at Sloan Road and Doricha Lee Road and is comprised of 2 parcels of land, 6 acres each. We are proposing to construct between 25 to 30 patio homes with a ground level floor footprint of 2,400 square feet. The 6-acre parcel furthest from Sloan Road. On the second 6-acre parcel at the intersection of Sloan and Doricha Lee Road, we propose to build 25 to 30 2-story townhomes with garages. Additional parking will be provided well above the required parking. This property will also have a 2,500 square foot clubhouse. The clubhouse will be heavily landscaped with high-end landscaping. There is Clemson Elementary School located at the intersection of Hardscrabble and Clemson and Spring Valley High School, which is not too far from this development. Shopping, retail, recreation, and other amenities are also very conveniently located close by. The development, when completed, will be aesthetically beautiful with as much greenery as possible left intact. Our goal for this development is not to have a cluster of apartments thrown together, rather a community that comes together in a cohesive, serene, beautiful surroundings that makes living in the city still have the benefits of this wooded area and will still make one feel this is home. We will be working with the county staff and SCDOT on the access points. The main entrance will be off of Sloan Road, and we are considering a secondary entrance off Doricha Lee, but we'll work with emergency services and planning staff from the county and the SCDOT for how we access Doricha Lee. We know the current residents along Doricha Lee will have some concern about additional traffic on this gravel road, and we do not want to impact that community with significant road changes, but do want emergency vehicles to be able to reach both their homes and our patio homes. There is a definite need for rental properties in the area. Such properties are already up and operating in the area just north of this intersection and several other streets close by. This development will be a gated community. We feel the concept of these upscale patio homes and upscale rental homes in a small development such as this will build communities and bring people together. We are very proud of the projects we have completed and will strive to make this a very desirable community. Once again, we thank you for the opportunity. And then we have the next comment in opposition. In reference to case number 20-042MA, I'm writing to oppose the rezoning of the property to multifamily use. The changes would devalue my single family property along with my neighbor's investments as well. I hope this opposition will have some impact on decisions made concerning the area. Let's see. I believe that is the only other comment, Mr. Chair.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Brian, I'll read the other comments.
Okay.
Okay. Hello, my name is Robert Huntley. I live at 131 Doricha Lane. I do not support the rezoning to RMMD. Our road is peaceful. There is no history or crime nor any ordinance complaints, and we will like to keep this way. Please take time to engage more with the community members that have to live with the decision. I urge you to vote no. Robert Huntley. That was the other one.
Is that it, Mr. Price?
That was it.
The public hearing for case number 20-042MA is now closed. The chair entertains a motion for that item.
Move to approve, Mr. Chair.
Motion for approval. Is there a second?
It's
moving properly second. Any discussion?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chair.
Yes.
May I be recognized?
Yes, ma'am. Ms. Barrett, you recognize.
I just want to go on the record to say that I have spoken since the submission of the letters to one of the community leaders Mr. Barksdale, who also in return owns several acres of land in that area. Although he does express his concern, he does understand that development in this area is a necessity and that they are open, and we are all open to exploring options in this particular area. However, as stated in one of the letters, it is imperative that developers understand that they need to come into the community and to speak with the community before submitting applications or assuming that it's okay just to build right across the street from a very well-established community. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Any further discussion? If not, I'll ask Ms. Owen to call the roll for the motion.
Malinowski,
Yes.
Pugh,
Yes.
McBride,
Yes.
Livingston,
Yes.
Teratio,
Yes.
Barron,
Yes.
Overture Walker,
Yes.
Mackey,
Yes.
English,
Yes.
Newton.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. That brings us to item 5A7, case number 20-043MA. That's from Jeff Baker from NC to GC. That's located at 1630 and 1636 Leesburg Road, tax map number 919203-11-05 and 06. That public hearing is now open.
Yes,
Mr. Price.
Mr. Chair, we have one letter in support from the applicant and one opposed.
Can you share those for the record?
Yes, sir.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, we have Jeff Baker at 1 Harmon Road, Hopkins, South Carolina, 29061. My name is Jeff Baker, and I am the son and power of attorney for my parents, Fred and Gladys Baker of Hopkins. My parents are the owners of 1636 and 1630 Leesburg Road. My parents have owned and operated Curls and Swirls Beauty Shop at 1636 Leesburg Road since the early 70s. Due to age, my mom 87 and dad 93 and health issues, they decided to close the shop permanently last year when the COVID-19 shutdown was ordered by Governor McMaster. We have been trying to sell the properties together in hopes that a new business would come to the area and continue the growth of Eastern Richland County. We have had interest in the properties for new business development. Due to the properties not being zoned as GC, other properties in the Leesburg Road area, the interested parties were not able to bring their new businesses in. It is my humble request on behalf of my parents, Fred and Gladys, that the two properties be rezoned from neighborhood commercial to general commercial so that we can bring more business opportunities to the Leesburg area. Thank you for your time and attention. And in opposition is Thomas Merrifield. And it says, I received a letter stating that there is a request for a zoning change for the above property. After doing some research, I found that the request is to rezone from commercial for commercial and that it is planned to put an automotive service company tire and wheel service on the property. I own the property at 7013 Hilo, which shares a property line along one side. My property is a residential home. I'm strongly against any plans to put an automotive service company at this location. It would mean that my property would be subject to a huge amount of noise as well as odors emanating from the establishment, directly affecting the quality of life and property value of my property. Please inform me of any potential legal means of avoiding this change immediately. For any questions or comments, I could be reached at this address or the number below. And that's it for comments, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. That public hearing is now closed. Chair, entertain a motion for item 7. Case number 20-043MA.
Mr. Chair, I move to accept the recommendation of staff and the Planning Commission to approve.
Motion for approval. Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and properly second. Any discussion?
Mr. Chair, may I be recognized?
You recognize me.
Thank you. Just wanted to share for my colleagues and any others who've looked at this that I've visited the area several times and I'm very familiar with it. And this zoning is consistent with zoning surrounding the property, both across the street on almost every side, and it's consistent with the other businesses that are in that area. So I would request approval.
Thank you. Any further discussion? If not, Ms. Owen, can you call the roll for item 587?
Malinowski,
Yes.
Pugh,
Yes.
McBride,
Yes.
Livingston,
Yes.
Horatio,
Yes.
Barron,
Yes.
Overture Walker,
Yes.
Mackey,
Yes.
English,
Yes.
Newton.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. That brings us to item 588, case number 20-044MA. Alexis Kishinev Jr. From RS-HD to REM-HD. That's 3921 Capers Avenue, tax map number R13805-03-09. That public hearing is now open.
Yes, sir. We have one letter, or one comment regarding this request, and that is from the applicant, of course, voicing support.
And you have an opposition?
No, sir.
Well, we'll go ahead and hear the letter from the applicant.
Okay.
All right, letter from the applicant, Lex Kistineff. Thank you for considering my case number 20-044MA regarding 3921 Capers Avenue. I appreciate your time and consideration very much. I have applied to have the property rezoned from single-family residential to multifamily residential because I would like to build a triplex on the property. My research indicates that there is a shortage of quality housing in Columbia. Accordingly, I believe the property's use and the housing demand would be best served by the multifamily rezoning. I have a reputation for building very high quality residences. My work at 3921 Capers Avenue would be no different. Adjacent to the property at 441 Deerwood Street is a 5-unit apartment building, and across the street at 448 Deerwood is a much larger apartment complex. So in principle, the construction of a triplex at 3921 Capers Avenue would seem to fit right in. If you have any questions or need anything else, please, of course, don't hesitate to contact me. Thank you again for your work and consideration. I appreciate it very much.
Thank you. That public hearing is now closed. The chair entertain a motion for item 8, case number 20-044MA.
Mr. Chair,
You recognize Mr. Horatio.
I move to approve.
Motion for approval is there a second?
Second.
It's moving properly second for approval. Any further discussion? There being none, Mrs. Owen, can you call the roll for item 8 on our agenda?
Malinowski,
Yes.
Pugh,
Yes.
McBride,
Yes.
Livingston,
Yes.
Horatio,
Yes.
Barron,
Yes.
Overture Walker,
Yes.
Mackey,
Yes.
English,
Yes.
Newton.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. That brings us to item 9 on our agenda, case number 21-001MA, Richard Miskey and Brian King from RU to RS-LD. That's on Old Road, tax map number R01414-01-01 and 02. That public hearing is now open.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, we have a letter from one of the applicants, and then we have 7 comments in opposition.
Can you read the applicant and then the 3 and 3 of the ones in opposition for the record?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. So this is from Brian C. Kinn, and the purpose for the rezoning request is to reduce the required side yard setback for a proposed residential garage for the following reasons. Reduce the number of older trees removed from the existing island for garage access. Reduce the number of older trees removed for garage construction. Offset the garage to reduce blocking the front view of the existing home and view of the side house from the street. The proposed garage location, north side along Richard Miskey's property was selected based on site restrictions to include the location of a driveway to his home, south side of the property, location of existing drain field north of the driveway island, and access to the rear of the house. The existing side yard setback is 20 feet from the neighboring property. Thank you for your consideration. And then we have a letter from Barry Crabtree at 1665 Wander Drive. It says, to our Richland County Council representatives, this is being written in opposition to the proposed rezoning of 1212 and 1216 Old Road from rural to residential single-family low density owned by Mr. Richard Miskey and Brian King, respectively. These lots are in the old and long-established lake neighborhood of Richland Franklin Estates. It was built as a rural single-family community years ago and would not want a few people to try to start making changes to open the door that could turn into big changes for the area in the future. By what we have been led to believe, their plans don't require the rezoning anyway, so myself and the family would strongly object to the rezoning. And then, see this next, I apologize, I'm having trouble finding that whom it's from. I believe it's David and Robin Smith. Says the map amendment staff report is located on page 37 of the February 1st, 2020 Planning Commission agenda. As owner of 5 Circle Drive and Richard Franklin Estates, we object to the rezoning request for 2 pieces of property. The change would not fit in that neighborhood of Richard Franklin Estates. High density housing would devalue the existing real estate property on Old Road and Richard Franklin Estates. It does not take into consideration what it would do to the value of the existing surrounding residents in that area. The lots are 1.81 and 1.96 acres and were considered estate lots when they were sold by Mr. Wyman Boozer. These lots are located along Old Road and already have existing lakefront homes, which already is set back from the lake. They are surrounded by other similar sized lots with one house that's set back from the lake and Old Road that have similar zoning. The 2 lots located at 1212 Old Road were built in 1980 and 1216 Old Road was built in 1983. This is typical of how these particular lots on Old Road and Richard Franklin subdivision were designed and built on that side of the peninsula. Changing the zoning from RU to RSLD would allow these 2 lots to be subdivided into as many as 9 individual lots and would make the property extremely crowded and would not fit the character for the surrounding established area along Old Road and Richard Franklin Estates. The application that was posted stated the property in Richard Franklin Estates was supplied from water from the city of Columbia. I believe I could be wrong, but everyone at the end of the peninsula where the road makes a circle, which starts at the intersection of Old Road and Wander Drive, has water that is either well water or lake drawn water that is filtered from Lake Murray. The applicants may have confused water and sewer, which is provided in our area. There's no city of Columbia water supplied along the property, stating the applicant's paperwork to the Richland County Planning Commission. Mr. Miskey made a mistake on Friday on the next door neighborhood chat page that he was just trying to build a garage on his property. As I see it, the 2 lots do not need a zoning change for a landowner to put up a garage. If the proposed garage encroaches on the required county setback, all they need to do is request a variance for the setback for the garage to be built by the Zoning Board of Adjustment Appeals. It is completely unnecessary to change the zoning to RSLD, as the new zoning change would open the door for these applicants and others to subdivide their lots and create crowded mini subdivisions within Richland Franklin Estates. The Richland County Zoning Board staff have a recommendation that was posted at the February 1st meeting stated disapproval of this request for the zoning change. David and Robin Smith, owners of 5 Circle Drive, which is the opposite side of the peninsula along Wander Drive, respectively object to this rezoning request for the property. And this next request is from, our comment is from Shirley Lohman at 1313 Old Road. Says, please note that I am opposed to the rezoning of this property and that it does not warrant review. This is quiet single family community with small children. Street traffic is congested, not to mention lake congestion. I am already concerned about the boat traffic racing through our neighborhood. We do not need more safety problems. Please keep our lake beautiful and safe. And I believe that was the 3rd comment, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, thank you. That public hearing is now closed. The chair entertains a motion on item 9, case number 21-001MA.
Chair Bill Malinowski.
Mr. Malinowski.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I concur with the recommendations of both the Planning Commission and the staff and move for denial.
The motion for denial. Is there a second? Moving properly second. Any further discussion? There being none, I'll ask the gentleman to call the roll for the motion for item 9.
Malinowski,
Yes.
Pugh,
Yes.
McBride, Livingston,
Yes.
Yes, for
Teratio.
McBride.
Yes, ma'am.
Teratio, yes.
Barron,
Yes.
Overture Walker,
Yes.
Mackey,
Yes.
English,
Yes.
Newton.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. That brings us to item 10 on our agenda, case number 21-002MA, John Swishstack, and that's from PDD to RM-HD, S/E Rice Meadow Way, tax map number 9, I'm sorry, R20310-07-02 and 03. That public hearing is now open.
Yes, Mr. Chair, we have a
Any
letter,
comments?
from the applicant. And we also have a letter in opposition along with a petition from I guess, some of the surrounding communities against the request.
Can you just share the letter from the applicant and one letter from the constituent?
Yes. I may have that. Okay, I'll go ahead and read. Mr. Walker of District 8, along with Ms. Miller of a nearby neighborhood, and I spoke about several points of misinformation that has recently surrounded this planning commission and staff approvals. First, we apologize for not bringing Mr. Walker and the neighborhood into the information and plan sooner. With 35 years experience, we have generally not found it necessary to seek involvement when downzoning occurred in a transitional area where the impact we are having is all positive. The builder and developer, the builder and developer have been in Columbia for 35 years. The company is known for high quality, top rated new home construction. They do not do government housing, nor do they work on subsidized programs for affordable housing. Our engineer contacted us, who said there are concerns from others about this being high density, low rent subsidized project. I want to assure you this project will enhance the area's character and its surrounding property values, as it is not one of the alleged deficiencies. Instead, it is A, for sale, B, high quality luxury townhomes, C, priced at or above homes in the area, D, not subsidized or below market in any way. 3, the neighbors had traffic concerns. The owner stated he owned this property since 2005 and have been attempting to develop it by attracting businesses that would be willing to locate there. He has even offered owner financing and build to suit deals with no success. The property was listed for sale and advertised on multiple listing and LoopNet. Interested businesses decided against investing there as they felt the location lacked commercial appeal. All of my efforts have been futile. I researched family builders and met the representatives of McGuinn Homes, who took me on a tour of the Harbison Court development in Columbia. I was impressed with the quality and the efficient work site. During the planning board meeting on February 1st, 2021, a concerned neighbor fearful of traffic congestion urged the board to deny the change. They did not agree. We agree, as did the planning commission. That's the 2 minutes for that particular statement. And so now the letter for that's in opposition. Dear sir, the area around Lee and Rice Meadow Way is already congested and overpopulated. Numerous car accidents has happened in this one area, and my property has been damaged on several occasions. Bumper to bumper traffic makes it difficult to get to and from work in the morning and evening. Excessive noise and speeding from cars is nerve-wracking daily. The roads are not able to handle the massive amount of people living here. Transportation wants to expand the roads and cut into my property to accommodate these wrongful situations. I am requesting that this case not be approved for these reasons. The area is overpopulated with people. Putting up townhomes and bringing in more people will only make the present situation worse. Kind regards, Carolyn Kennedy, homeowner. And that was it for the comments.
That public hearing is now closed. Chair entertains a motion regarding item 10, case number 21-002MA.
Mr. Chair, if I may
Walker
be heard.
recognized.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. I would move to have this matter deferred. If I had an opportunity to engage the community over the latter part of last week and over the weekend. I also heard from the developer as well. And what I've discovered is that at least up until yesterday, there had not been any meaningful, engagement with the community on this project or with this particular development. And my constituents have also made it clear to me that they feel like they've not been heard. So I would like for this matter to be deferred.
Second.
It's moving properly second for deferral. That's non-debatable. The chair would ask the only call the roll for item 10.
Excuse me, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Price, I'm sorry.
Will this be with the public hearing or and when will this be deferred until?
Mr. Walker, you looking at deferring that to the next meeting, the next zoning public hearing meeting?
Sure.
And since we changed it, I guess it will make sense to probably make sure the public hearing comes back with it too, though, I guess.
Okay, and that would be March the 23rd.
Okay. So once clear on that, there's only, can you call the roll for the motion for deferral?
Yes, sir. Malinowski,
Yes.
Pugh,
Yes.
McBride,
Yes.
Livingston,
Yes.
Teratio,
Yes.
Aaron,
Yes.
Overture Walker,
Yes.
Mackey,
Yes.
English,
Yes.
Newton.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. That brings us to item 11 on the agenda, case number 21-003MA, Walter McLaughlin Jr. from RU to GC. That's located at 10400 Broad River Road, tax map number R03300-06-08. That public hearing is now open.
Yes, sir. We have one comment, and that is from the applicant.
Okay, can you go read that for the record then?
Okay. All right.
All right.
Go ahead. You can go.
So the letter's from Donna and Walter McLaughlin. It's my wife and I were to retire after the fiscal year 2016. In preparation for that, we found a qualified restaurant operation to take over our very desirable corner location with little effort. While beginning negotiations for the lease of the restaurant, we got the notice from the Richland County Penny Tax Program announcing the widening of Broad River Road. The project illustration showed the removal of most of our parking lot, thus losing leasing opportunity for a grandfathered zoning situation of our property, as it was only use of a restaurant. No parking, no business, no lease. With my wife having health issues, we closed our restaurant in 2017. Continuing to correspond with PDT engineers, the project was to take and use our entire property, and we would be compensated for the relocation. As you know, shortly after the Broad River Road widening project in 2019 was approved, the PDT was terminated and the project went back to the design board with the new in-house engineering staff with a new design which calls for scaling down the project, which might create an opportunity for us to rent our property for retail that would require less parking. Our rezoning request would enable us to offer our building to different business options. We appreciate your consideration. And that's it, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much. That public hearing is now closed. Chair entertain the motion for item 11, which is case number 21-003MA.
Chair.
Mr. Malinowski, you recognize.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm very familiar with Mr. McLaughlin, his wife, and the situation that the Penny Tax has put these individuals in, and for that reason, I wholeheartedly support approval of this request.
Motion is for approval. Is there a second?
Second.
It's moving properly. Second in discussion. If not, I'll ask Ms. On to call the roll for the motion for case number 21-003.
Malinowski,
Yes.
Pugh,
Yes.
McBride,
Yes.
Livingston,
Yes.
Teratio,
Sorry, yes.
Barron,
Yes.
Overture Walker,
Yes.
Mackey,
Yes.
English,
Yes.
Newton.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Mr. Price, any old business?
No, sir.
If there's no old business, I'll go to the next item on the agenda.
Move to adjourn.
Motion for adjournment. Is there a second?
Second.
It's
And a
moving
third.
properly. Second, business owner can call the roll for the motion for adjournment.
Malinowski,
Yes.
Pugh,
Yes.
McBride,
Yes.
Livingston,
Yes?
Teratio,
Yes.
Barron,
Yes.
Overture Walker,
Yes.
Mackey,
Yes.
English,
Yes.
Newton.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you very much. Everyone have a good rest of the evening.
See y'all later.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Have a good
Bye.
evening, everyone.